Lana Clark, great to see you.
Hi,
Thank you for
Alex.
being here. So let's talk about buying new homes in Las Vegas and what buyers must know.
One of my favorite subjects.
Good. Can you give it to us? Should a buyer work with a real estate professional when going to see new homes? What is the short answer?
Definitely. Would you walk into a courtroom without representation when
No.
you're going to court?
No.
Then you definitely want to have a realtor represent you in one of your biggest financial decisions you're going to make, right?
But doesn't the home builder have my interests?
Oh, listen, you're going to get fantastic
Of course.
customer service. You're going to get great help. You're going to, they're going to be wonderful to you. But they work for the builder, and they work for the builder.
I get it. I get it.
So you want to think, okay, who's going to support me through the process and represent me?
Yep.
And that's why we're here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but as a buyer, I have costs associated with your representation?
So usually what happens is the builders have already built in this cost. Obviously, that changes, but typically, we're able to help them out.
So typically I'm not seeing higher expense, but I'm getting value from you.
Correct.
Okay. So let's go into some of the details.
Sure.
Lana, is it just me, or does it seem like builder pricing changes quite frequently? And I look at the website, it might say one thing, maybe you go in, you get something different. How does what's the story there?
Well, there's a couple of things I have to watch for when you're looking on the websites. Is typically they're going to have what the base prices are. So those aren't technically the prices for a ready move-in ready home type of thing.
And meaning to say, I don't want the cheapest or bottom of the barrel stuff put into the house. I want quality.
Yeah,
right?
well, you might, you have choices when you build. So you have standing inventory, and then you have, where you can build from the ground up. But basically, a lot of these prices will change from week to week, month to month. It just depends. Depends on a lot of different variables. It could be the market. It's a really hot market, so they want to take advantage of it. It can be inventory. It could be rates, interest rates. There's a lot of different factors that come into play. So you may come in one week and, you may see a price difference of $10,000.
Wow.
It may be $5,000. It may
Yep.
be $2,500. You don't know. So that's why you want to have a realtor, in your corner too, because they're going to keep an eye out on the market. They're going to know what's happening in the area, and they can give you, advice, on what's going on, and so that way you can make the best decision, and if it's the right, time and the right home for you.
Look, although much might be financing, right? Like $5K or $10K is $5 or $10K, period, whether I'm financing it or not. And it sounds to me like there's a real value in professional oversight. You may even have a relationship with these builders.
We do.
Have made other transactions with them, et cetera, right? So
Exactly.
that you can get to the point maybe a little bit faster.
That, and they'll we can call ahead of time, find out what's going on, what incentives they have, because they're going to change the incentives too. So the incentives change from week to week sometimes.
I see.
Month to month sometimes. You may have, an incentive one week, and then, you don't have the incentive next week, but you have a better price.
Yeah.
It just all depends on the builder.
I like to think of it as I'll consider myself a reasonably intelligent person, right? But I don't know what I don't know. And when walking into a, let's call it strange situation of which I don't have experience all the time, you said it before, this is a big financial decision, right? Maybe the biggest, and I'm going to do it only a handful of times maybe, right? Or less. In my life, so how good at it could I possibly be? It's obvious to me that having support is important. So it changes often.
The reason why you want support too is you got to remember when you walk into these builder showrooms, there's a lot of bells and there's a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes we have to reel you in, tell you what the reality is of it, because you get excited, and it's all about all the pretty, and
you start to see your life in the model, right? In the model,
which that's what they want. They're good at it, and they're beautiful. Who wouldn't want it, But then you've got to come back to reality and say, okay, wait, is this going to work for me and what I can afford?
And it just, what strikes me now is we might be walking in at a peak scenario of, let's just say, less incentive, higher price for whatever reason, market reason. you may be walking in at a really good time, and you should listen to your agent and then tell you, hey, this is what it is, right? Make sure you take advantage of this.
Yeah.
You would be making a mistake not to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to give, obviously it's their decision.
Yeah.
We're just going to give them all the facts that they need to make that decision.
Yep.
And then they can,
I
either
remember
go forward or not.
I had a friend, I'll tell you a quick story. It reminds me of this. I had a friend, that a Canadian gentleman, came to Las Vegas looking for a second home investment.
Yeah.
And he was going with an agent at the time around, and the agent was very direct with him in the beginning of the relationship to say, hey, this particular property you looked at, you will not find again. You're making a mistake if you don't buy it right now, right? And I remember him saying oh, I don't know if he's just trying to make a commission or whatever, right?
Right.
And then he went off and looked at other properties and didn't commit. And guess what happened? He lost that particular property. He paid significantly more for, I think it was a new build, if I'm not mistaken. But what I'm trying to say is when you enter into that relationship with the person you're working with, there's got to be that trust.
Correct.
If you're going to work with me, take my advice, listen to me, right?
Well, that's what we're hopefully there for
Yeah.
and that's why, at least I hope you're hiring me for that reason.
Yeah.
For my knowledge, my support, and hopefully to give you the information you need to make those decisions.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
yeah, it's important.
So oftentimes, look, again, big financial decision. What about the interest rates? I know interest rates are fluctuating a lot. I think they're quite high. Forgive me if I'm mistaken today versus maybe
Yeah.
not too distant
Obviously, I
past.
have to stay in my lane, but with the builders, is they tend to offer these fantastic interest rates.
Okay.
Right? And what I tell my buyers, especially my first-time buyers, but all my buyers in general, is you've got to think about it when. They're dingling these really nice, interest rates. 3.9, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you just have to make sure that it's a number that works for you. You got to look at the whole financial picture. What they're doing to get to that rate. Are you paying extra fees and all this other stuff? You want to make sure that you're looking at the whole picture and not just at that rate, right? As you do with any lender. So what I tell my clients or my buyers are take a look at the whole picture and then compare it. Get some other, quotes on what other lenders have, and then go with the one that works for you the most, because it varies.
Do you have an opinion on whether a buyer should use a lender that's, let's say, associated with the home builder? Is there some other route that you find yourself recommending?
That's kind of what I was saying. So the builders will offer these really fantastic rates, and sometimes it really works for the first-time home buyers or for just anyone in general. But you want to look at the whole picture because you want to see what you're paying for.
Yep.
Maybe you are paying to buy down that rate and you don't even realize it.
Sure.
You don't know. So
it reminds me, again, a few times I've purchased a vehicle in my life, right? You look at these statements and I think I'm reasonably intelligent, but I don't know what all this stuff is and whether it's a total ridiculous waste of money or not, I frankly don't know. So I get that. I can understand. And it's also, there's the pressure of I want the car, I want to get out of this place I've been in. I think it's a similar in home. It's like there's a desire from the buyer to get this property. Correct. And maybe that will kind of push them to move a little bit faster than they otherwise would.
So the builders will offer these incentives to use, but you have to use them.
I see.
But you can't. Doesn't mean you can't though get other lenders' opinions as well, and get what they're offering. And that's the important part, because then you can check what the builder's offering too with them. I'm not the expert in that field. Unfortunately, I can't help them specifically when it comes to that, but I can help them, give them the referrals that they need to get that information.
Do you know how much I love when professionals say, I don't know?
Yeah.
I really like that because we can't be the doer of all things. And when you get to know your business more and more, you're like, wow, I can really dive very deep into my little lane here, into my, not little, whatever it is, right?
Right.
But even earlier today, I was on a call with somebody, and just right away I knew, great guy, but I just can't help you.
Right.
And here's what I do, here's what I don't do. And I think that's wonderful that you say, talk to professionals. But I suspect if I was to ask you, hey, Lana, can you recommend me
Oh,
someone else
exactly.
to
Well,
talk to?
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, yeah,
I have lots of really wonderful people, that we've worked with in the past. My buyers and sellers I've worked with in the past. I'm happy to give any
yeah.
recommendation. Um, knowledge is power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do have to remember that. And I do unfortunately have to say I don't know everything. You
Of
can't. It
course, you
changes too
can't. Yeah,
much.
yeah, of course.
So
I think it's great.
I can talk real estate.
Yeah. One of the big benefits too is like I think we've talked about this before, but it's not just in in lending. There's the resources that great people.
Right.
You spoke with those gentlemen that take care of properties for investment team. Like there's so many referrals one can make, and I can say personally about myself, I really appreciate when professionals save me time and energy, and therefore probably money also,
That's
just
what I'm
giving
here
me the
for.
direction so I'm not off in the wrong direction. So I
Right.
think that's really good. Excellent.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Lana, what about home inspections? I think that in traditional sales, it's like critical. Is it also the case with buying a new home, or you just expect everything's
It's
perfect?
just as important. That's the crazy thing is most people when they buy a new home, they don't think they need to do a home inspection because they have the brand new warranties and all the guarantees that the builder give. But you want to do a home inspection on a new build. You have to remember that there are people building these homes. People do make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure this is one of the biggest financial decisions you're going to make, spending a lot of money. You want to make sure and guarantee or, have them take a look at
Yep.
and see, okay, is there anything wrong with this home?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you definitely want to get a home inspection. It doesn't cost that much money, and it will give you a lot of peace of mind
Totally.
knowing that, okay, we're good.
Well, and some ammunition if there isn't, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just did one not too long ago, and we did a home inspection, brand new, shiny, just finished, and he went up to attic and it was missing all the insulation,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have known unless you crawled up there, So,
But you would have, I assume, had a significant increase in heating and cooling.
well, they didn't even know because luckily they hadn't closed on it yet. It was a walk. It was.
I
a
just mean it
walkthrough.
would
Yeah,
have.
It would have.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah. And they would have had to get someone. I mean, listen, you could probably get it done after with the warranty, but why would you? You want
Sure.
to get it done before you move in the home.
I agree.
You don't want all your furniture, everything
Yeah.
all around, and then all of a sudden now you've got to move things or whatever to fix whatever they need to fix because you didn't do the home inspection.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Wow. Okay. And interesting, these real stories. I'm sure that you have, I can imagine the stories that you
There's
have.
many more. That was just one simple one, but there's many more.
Yeah. So important, just because it's brand new doesn't mean that there isn't mistakes.
Correct.
Is every new home purchase process the same? Like, can I expect that wherever builder I go and whatever status the property is in at that moment, is it generally the same?
Oh, definitely not. There's a lot of different types. You've got quick move-ins. You've got already, where they're already started construction, and then you've got stuff where you can build from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the home, there's some that allow you to pick your own interiors, such as cabinets and countertops and all that stuff. There are some builders that have packages. So it just depends on the builder. And there's definitely different stages. Some you wait, 6 months to, a year for the build. Some only a couple months, depending on how far along the process is, whether it is a quick move-in or whether it is still in the process of construction. Yeah.
Sounds to me like it's not just different builder will have different process, but it's also like what stage is the property in.
Correct.
Also, like what amount of changes and or wish list can you have based on that, right?
Yeah, it affects because it affects the timeline and also affects the incentives maybe that they're willing to do as well, depending on the different stages.
I see.
So that's something, a realtor is going to know that maybe you won't because. Yeah, it just depends on the stage of the home.
This particular property's been sitting for a little bit longer, maybe. They want to get rid of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that fall into play. So, yeah, you definitely want to know so you can take advantage of it.
not to give the analogy again too much about the cars, but that's what I have more experience.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we bought our last car, it had been sitting there for like, I want to say like 100 days or something.
Yeah.
So I think that they were more apt to like just go,
Right.
just take it.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
Exactly. Depends
Obviously,
on what time of year too.
yeah, that's true. Holidays,
know?
etc.
Mhm,
But
holidays.
compounded by at least 10, maybe 15 times more important in
Yeah.
the home purchase. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Lana, a lot of the takeaway from this is that I'm getting from you is that it's like there's so many moving parts. It's a lengthy process, whether it's months or upwards of a year, depending on the process. Like, how do you manage the process? What should be expected? Just give us an education on that, please.
Well, this is the benefit of having an agent or a realtor helping you, is that they can help manage all the different timelines. There's a lot of different timelines. There's a lot of different things, and it can be a little hectic. So we're there to help them out and work through that process, such as contracts, number one. Contracts are a huge thing. Number two is, you're going to have options. So you're going to go to the designer's appointments. You got to do walkthroughs. You've got to do lender information, appraisals. I mean, there's so many different.
It's overwhelming.
Yes, it can be very
Yeah,
overwhelming.
it's overwhelming.
And I don't know if anyone, have you bought and sold homes recently?
Not recently.
But it can be very overwhelming. And the nice thing is that we are here to help you go through all those processes. And when it comes to the builders, it's changed a lot these days. So you get a little bit more, at least from me, I can't speak for other agents, but from me, you get a lot more hands-on, more hand-holding through the process. So it makes it a little bit easier. It's going to be stressful for now, no matter what. That's just how it is when you're buying and selling homes. It always tends to be stressful no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how easy you make it for people.
Yeah.
But, you still want to make sure that they have all that information and that there's a lot of contingencies and timelines that you're dealing with. And you want to make sure that there's no mistakes there either, especially for the walkthroughs. Because if you don't show up, they're not going to wait for you. They've got to finish this home by a certain time. And you got to remember that their close date is on their time, not your time. So, you have to make sure that all these, timelines are made.
Interesting.
So that way you don't miss one. Because if you don't get your design center information in you haven't picked, like, let's say your flooring by a certain time, they're just going to pick it.
Wow.
They can't wait for you.
Wow.
They've got a timeline to have this house done by.
Oh, there's many people involved, many hands at play, right? They're not going to sit around and wait.
You've got electrical, you've got all these different, and they all need to be done by a certain time. Cabinets, especially because a lot of people have to order them in.
Yeah.
They don't realize how long it takes for cabinets. They don't have them in stock. They've got to order them.
And the expense associated with it.
Yeah. And you have to pick them by a certain time. Otherwise, the house isn't going to be finished in time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It seems to me like there's quite a bit of risk in this. And I'll get just a simple story from a friend of mine that reminds me, but it'll just illustrate my point. Really smart guy, taught me a lot on certain subjects. A friend of mine sold his property not too long ago and had agreed to a and/or assigns scenario and a $1 EMD, I think it was, earnest money deposit. Like, he got strung along massively with no risk to the buyer, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just giving an example of if you don't know and if you're not well educated on it or experienced in this particular subject, that's one example of if you don't make this particular deadline, you want to cancel, you can't, you lost your deposit, right?
Right.
Correct? And a builder's not going to accept a $1 earnest money deposit.
No, they're not.
What's standard these days for properties? Is there a standard?
It just depends on the builder.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Roughly.
It honestly just depends on the builder.
All right. I'm thinking back in the day when it was I think I saw 5,000 usually, but that seems maybe it's low like everything else now.
That's probably low compared to what
I don't know. It's
be.
been a long time for me.
That sounds like it's low to me.
That's from 20 years ago, whatever. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So again, risk mitigation, because look, how do I say this? You're taking on that risk.
Yeah.
Are you not?
In terms of what?
Let's say you're representing me and we go to a new home builder and we do all this stuff. And let's just say I wanted to cancel, but I didn't understand that this needed to be done on this day. Like it almost becomes your responsibility, is it not?
Well, I don't know if I'd say our responsibility, but you have to know, and we have to make sure that you know
Yes.
of the consequences and of, if you don't follow these deadlines,
I get it.
This can happen.
There's just, it still feels like, you're assuming a liability of any, I don't mean even legal, but just from like it's your responsibility to make sure that I'm educated and understand, although this isn't my field. So
yeah,
that's, it's not a joke.
no,
I mean, it's not a joke.
It's that's what I think. I think a lot of people, when they go into a new home builder, they trust the person that's there, which is fine. But a lot of people don't read the contracts; they just sign them.
I get it. Yeah.
And I have to just emphasize to my buyers.
Yes.
Read the contract.
Yes.
Read the contract.
Yes.
Don't sign anything unless you know what it means. If you don't know what it means, don't sign it.
Totally agreed.
It's super important. And a lot of people are like, nope, I'll just sign. Oh, I'm getting a new home. Just sign. You've got to understand what you're signing.
Yep.
And so that's super important when any contract, let alone,
one for
working for,
hundreds
buying a
of
new
thousands,
home. Yeah.
if not more. Yeah. Understood. Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm like nervous about this risk thing that I just said to you now. Like it's real. Like it's actually really real.
I think because I'm so used to it.
Yes.
Obviously, and I'm very confident with my knowledge, especially when it comes to new homes, and that I can help support them in the process where they're going to feel more comfortable.
Yes.
And better about their decisions that they're making. And then obviously with the support that I have, that I can refer them to if they need that as well, in terms of lenders and other things that they may need, inspectors and so forth.
It's a network.
It's a network.
Trusted network.
It's a team.
Yes, it is.
It's a team.
Yeah, it is.
And it definitely helps when you have a team on your side to help you through a very kind of stressful time.
Agreed. Wow. Can realtors negotiate, let's say more so than an average buyer walking in themselves? And maybe the other question is a person that thinks they're a good negotiator going to be equivalent to the realtor that has the experience? What do you think?
So in my opinion, I have an advantage only because I worked for a builder before. So in my opinion, there's some things there that I think are better to negotiate than others.
I see.
So
the points to hit that they could more easily part ways with.
Correct.
I see.
I mean, typically they're not going to negotiate on base prices, but there are other things that you can negotiate, and it just depends on the situation, depends on the community, depends on what they have to offer in that community. Such as window coverings, washer, dryer, refrigerator. If they have some packages for certain things, if it's rates, buying down your rate type of thing, or if it's other type of concessions that you could possibly get. But that's what a realtor will know and will know ahead of time as well. So when we're going into it, and if it's something that you do like and you want to move forward with, I'm already going to know where it stands based on...
You know the buttons to press.
Exactly.
I don't consider myself talented in the negotiation department. I just don't. I know some people, they make it like a sport, like they really enjoy it, right? That's not me. But I can admit that like I really wouldn't know like what are the buttons that I could press that would be maybe like easier to get than harder. I agree with that.
A lot of average people wouldn't know, I mean, obviously some people think they can negotiate no matter what, but they're usually trying to negotiate on the wrong things.
Yeah.
That's what's the problem.
I see. Or be some strong arm situation. I get it.
Yeah. And there are certain things that they won't, so you have to know, those items, and then maybe, you can work a better deal.
Yes, understood. We've already talked about it from like earlier on, there's real savings in all of this, either in discounts or incentives that can be earned for your involvement in
And
the
it can
project.
work really well depending on. Listen, there's a lot of different factors. How long you're going to stay in the home? Is it your second home?
Yeah.
Is it are you a first time home buyer? Depending on your situation, it's all very different.
That's true, because my wants and needs are different than the other person, and that also has a role in all of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that plays in your decision and on the negotiations.
Said differently, 40-year-old Alex has a different list of priorities than 30 or 25-year-old Alex.
Yeah.
I get it. That's very interesting. So it depends where you are in life, what your priorities, how long you're going to stay in the house. Yeah, all very interesting. Again, my biggest takeaway, I think, is there's a lot that goes into this.
There's a lot. There's a lot of different
there's
steps.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It just, from my logic, it's like I have nothing to lose. No cost, pretty much, in most cases. And I have a lot to gain from representation, I'm saying.
Yeah. And I don't know, have you gone into any new home communities recently?
Not recently. Long time ago.
Okay, so I just went, I always go because
You have to. You got to know your
right,
your
exactly.
product, right? Yeah.
So I just went into one in Summerlin because, that's the area I kind of work. But so you got to remember, sometimes there's like 5 to 10 different model homes. You've got different floor plans. You've got different elevations. You've got this, that. Just to keep that in your head, like what's this, what's that? I mean, that's what I'm there to help with.
Yep.
Because literally, you could have a whole page of options of what you can do on some of these homes.
I'd say too that you probably make some recommendations to this is not the right thing to spend X amount of money on, right? Because maybe from a resale value.
Especially for design and so forth. There's certain things that you may want to get outside the builder versus done by the builder. And then also on options. Do you want a tub? Do you not want a tub?
Yeah.
What's better for resale? What's not? That type of thing. Yeah,
because if you said if you're going to be there for a long time, then who cares about? Not who cares, but resale less important.
Correct.
Your first home, you're going to be there for 5 years for sure, max. Well, that matters more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And depends on if you're going to rent it out.
Yeah.
If it's going to be your home. Definitely you're going to pick different options as well.
So to wrap this up, hit me with a few of the biggest mistakes. What do those look like to you? Obviously, not hiring, but what are some of the big ones that you would say
that are made by buyers?
By buyers, yeah.
I think one is their expectations. I think a lot of them are disappointed because they have way different expectations.
Expectations like can you explain more?
In terms of like the communication, the communication between them and the builder. If they didn't hire, they didn't hire a realtor. So the communication, or there'd be they didn't know they could get a home inspection, things like that. They
meaning to say that the builder isn't coming out of their way to say, why don't you go do a home inspection?
No, they're not going to tell you that. Why would they tell you that?
That's funny.
No. So, and then, the other things when it comes to the signings and so forth, they'll just find, a document in their inbox and they're like, what's this? Get that a lot. So it's nice to have.
Well, there isn't even communication as to
No, they'll be like, just sign this, and you're like, what is this?
Scares me. Random point, but scares me. I've heard recently from not more than one person about crazy stuff to do with closings and some email being hijacked and money sent elsewhere. You heard these crazy stories? Oh,
that's what we were just talking about. That's why we were talking about wire fraud and stuff.
Unbelievable.
It's we were just talking about that with one of my title girls. And
terrifying.
It's very terrifying.
Wow.
And you've got to train yourself to look at the actual email address. But that's a big thing too, because even if you're working for a builder, doesn't mean that you can't get hacked.
Yeah, and it doesn't even. And by the way, in the case that I'm talking, it wasn't some fake email address. It was the email address of the company.
Yes.
And somehow it was diverted. It just the whole thing terrifies me. But yes, I want to know where I'm going. I want to be very clear on it. Yes. I don't mind spending my time to do it correctly and not just run around and make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, you want to verify, obviously, and you want to check everything that you're getting from them. So make sure that, first of all, it is really from them. Number two, you want to understand it. You want to, like I said, you make sure when you're signing all those documents, you understand them.
Yep.
So it's really important. But that, I think people don't realize when they first get into it how much is involved. And it is exciting. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
New homes are exciing.
Yeah.
It's like a brand new car, like getting a brand new car. It smells all pretty.
Yeah.
It looks all pretty. And it is exciting, but you don't want to have like horrible experiences taint that, that part of it,
It's also like, at least for me, I don't like that there's so many options.
Yeah.
In the sense, like, for example, I'm doing something in my backyard now, and I have to make a decision on a significant amount of space, right? I thought I would enjoy, but frankly, I'm just too worried of making a mistake now that I'm not, like, I just want it to be over with.
Yes.
I just want the thing to be over with.
And see, if I knew that, as an agent,
You would tell me don't.
I would say, okay, maybe this isn't the community you should go to. Then maybe we should go to this because they have packages.
Yeah.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
Just
let it be
pick one
done
package
by a designer. I'm not a designer of homes, right? Yeah.
Or you pick a quick move-in. It's already done for you. You know what I mean? There's options.
Yeah. Yeah. I would choose that for sure.
Yeah.
If you said to me, you want all these options under the sun, or I would say, please don't take me to all the options. It's not going to help me.
Yeah.
It sounds great, but it's not my style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my wife would agree with me. Yeah. All right, good. I learned a lot. I really appreciate the time you spent. Yeah, LanaClarkHomes.com is how to reach you, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very well. And we hope that many people will get a lot of benefit out of your insights today. I certainly did.
And you know what? I would love to get phone calls, or if anyone wants to reach out and ask me any questions.
Good.
Happy to help.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.